All right, the race here today is coming from Phoenix. This is on the road course. She's oval part of the interior part of the track. 1.5 miles, 13 turns. All right, let's do the track reconnaissance thing. We're on the front straight here. Carolina speed on the front straight, of course. You go through NASCAR 3 and 4 before coming out of the front straight. Come down an infield here. This is probably the trickiest turn. It's a very long, uh, and then you start coming into the tighter part of the infield course here. You can clip that inside turn here. Come as close as you can, kind of to that wall. Oops, there went our reconnaissance lap. Let's see if we can skip a lap ahead. Okay, so here we go again. Coming into the interior section. Braking, downshifting a couple of times, under braking while turning. So that's the tricky bit. Inside tires up on the curb. Get as much turning done as you can. Clip this one here, so you've got a straight shot coming out here. You got to kind of brake and then get off the brakes and then brake again in a straight line, getting into there. Back over that a little bit. This is tricky. So you're braking a bit here and then having to get off the brakes to take this turn here a bit and then getting back on the brake as soon as you can straighten the car back out again right here to get the rest of your braking done to then make it into through this turn. You get more grip on the inside, that cement part right there. You can see there's grooves here. This is cement that has grooves cut into it, and this is old asphalt. This is slipperier. If you're out here, it's already too late, but also you have less grip. So if you get up there, then you really can't turn as well. Um, try to clip that one here. Coming after this turn here, um, heavy braking zone right about here. Um, and trying to get this turn right is pretty critical, but difficult to do. Um, Slow motion here, you see the car kind of bounce around a little bit, but you want to turn in, just get the inside tires over that as you're off the brake and off the kind of off the throttle. So basically, the inside suspension is sort of soft and unloaded, so it just kind of glides over those inside curbs. It's hard to do though. Here, especially with tires cold, you want to turn in kind of late. I turned in too early here, and now you're going to get push on the exit here, and I'm going to brush the wall on purpose here because I don't want my qualifying lap to count. So just a little tap there, qualifying lap will count. Because I'd rather start at the back because it's, I don't know, actually a little more fun. But that's a lap here of Phoenix. All right, let's go ahead and get to the race. So we are starting, I don't know, 15th or something, 11th. So you can tell by the car numbers, right? It's car number 6, this car number 20. This tells me maybe be a little bit careful for this guy and this guy, especially. So anyway, let's get to it. We will go camera 2. Car in front of us doesn't get a good start at all. Some of the cars behind us get a pretty decent start. The Marlboro car kind of shut the door a bit on me there, so I'm just kind of waiting, watching the mirrors, making sure I'm not going to get run over from behind. It's typical lap 1 stuff of cold tires, don't push too hard, and watch out for other people's incidents. Sort of cautious. You see some spinning going on there. More spinning. Let's go and pick that up and get a little bit better angle on some of this. So we will go maybe chopper view. No, the greatest. Chase, okay. It's a little more fun. You can see somebody cut across. You can see those tracks going across the inside of the turn there. Some of the guys spinning in front of us, behind us, in front of us. So any contact, especially on cold tires, is going to help you spin. Like if you're already in the middle of turning braking, kind of at the retraction. So I'm happy with this. We're towards the end of lap 1. Made it through that stuff cleanly. It looks like we're about 6th now. So we just gotta watch out for the 18. So you can see that 18. Let's not gonna worry about the drifting up high. So watch this entrance here too. So we're going down the back straightaway of the NASCAR part of the track, and watch what the 18 car does. dives in early, which makes perfect sense if you're driving oval, you're doing that. Look at these guys. These guys are more experienced, and they're staying out wider, and we're going to stay out a bit wider too. And later in the race, you might be able to do this. Probably not, but watch what happens here. Full speed. He hasn't got a turning done. Hasn't got a turning done. It doesn't back out of the throttle. It doesn't hit the brake. So what's going to happen here? So I know this already. Like I'm seeing where he's at and what's going on. He's hitting that wall. There's no way he's not hitting that wall. So I'm preparing for that and being like, let me go even more inside. Normally I'd be like, where this guy is over here, farther to the right, trying to use a hollow track on exit. But I'm actually, when I see this guy out here, I'm like, oh man, he's going to bounce off the wall. Now I'm trying to calculate where is he going to bounce and where is he going to end up? How much is he going to correct it after he bounces off the wall? Because he's definitely hitting the wall. So he bounces and corrects it. I thought he might bounce and come all the way across. It would have been worse for me because I probably wouldn't have been able to have time to avoid it. But I'll back it up one more time and we'll do from in our cockpit view. So go down the back straight. He turns in. I already know he's hosed. Unless he lifts, he's hosed. Now I got the other car coming up behind me too. There's this other car in the mirror over here, little car. You got to see what he's going to do because now we're about to be 3 wide. So let's go back to let's see. We can see it here, and then those guys get into it. So sometimes you're driving your car, sometimes you're sort of driving the other guy's car, of seeing what they're going to do, what they're going to have to do, and how you're going to have to react to what's going to happen with them. You can't always predict it perfectly, but it's amazing how often it works. So we're about almost a car width off of that apex there. It's really hard to hit that apex on that hairpin. But it's important to get that hairpin as good as you can because you're on the throttle for so long, and there's probably 25 seconds straight on the throttle after that. So you can imagine if you pick up another 1 mile an hour coming out of there, you get to carry that the whole time all the way through here. There's a transition there you saw when you come from the oval bank near the track onto the flat intersection and bounces the car. So you get that bounce. No banking and 3 downshifts while braking and turning left the whole time. It's fun. You can take that turn kind of differently too. I feel like I'm not the fastest through that section, but oh, somebody messed up here. I think it's a car that's about to go a lap down, or just went a lap down. So we have basically first, second, third, fourth right there, and a lap car. I think the lap car's been staying high. You can hear me lift a little bit. The lifting is just so we don't run out to the wall on exit. But the earlier you can lift and then be on power and make it to the exit, better because then you don't have to lift real late, which costs you a lot more. So now it's trying to figure out a good spot to get by this guy and if he's going to let me by this left car in front of us. He's just gone a lap down, and those other cars kind of sort of freight trained him. But it looks like he lifts there for us. At least he drifted wide enough that he had to lift to make the turn. And the track turning different colors. That's just the position of the sun. I don't know if we're racing at sunset or sunrise, but that's why it has kind of that sort of golden color in some spots. You can see the suspension working over those curves. So this is from like the top of the hoop on top of the car, this angle. So first is checking out there a bit, and then we have second, third, and fourth of the cars together in front of us. We are working lap, this started lap 6 right here. I don't know if you can hear the tire schooling there, but I'm listening to it. You can feel it through the hands, but also you can listen for it. Tire schooling, it's generally the tires, and a little bit of graphics hiccup there. That's what that looks like, where things basically stop for a split second. It's really hard to deal with driving, especially if you're in a turn or next to another car. You can't see what's going on. It can easily cause a spin when the graphics hiccup. Stutter is what everybody calls it. This camera kind of bounces a lot. I can see it starting to a little bit more and more. Switch to chase camera. It's a little bit more steady. So now you see they're starting to battle. It's a yellow car and the black and white car right in front of him. They're getting a little bit closer, and the reason I say they're battling is that they're taking different lines. Or sorry, so red, white, blue car. They're taking different lines, and that usually means that the car in front is sometimes taking a more defensive line, or he's getting out of shape a bit and having to take sort of an improvised line. So you see I caught the apex just right there on the inside. So this is something I try to do, especially when cars in front of me are battling, is just try to be perfect, especially then, because that can help you close up the gap to them. They're having to take compromised lines, and since I'm here by myself, I can take the optimal line, and if I do it perfectly, I can close up the gap. The other part of it is if they're running a little bit side by side, they're blowing a wider hole in the air, and so there's a bigger draft effect. So basically, it's a great time to turn in your best laps. Oh, this leader, this train maybe, or I don't know, maybe it's a lap car. Maybe the green car, I think it's a lap car. Um, yeah. So it's unclear sometimes what the lap car is going to do, where they're going to go. Luckily, he did that. So they're letting you through, hopefully. Um, they're also driving their mirrors a bit, and they're struggling with something if they're running, if they're new or something. So it's just hard to predict what they're going to do. So you try to make the obvious, let there be plenty of space, and try to get by them quickly. So now we're definitely closing up on these guys. I feel like we're as close as we've been. Oh, they touched there a bit. The white car seemed to kind of brake check the 5 a little bit, the yellow one. And the 5 had to get on the brakes late and hard, and that's what caused him to kind of run through that infield section a little bit, trying to take evasive action. Somebody else hit spot. That was a car that was already a lap down, I think. You can see we're going that wide entry through here, lifting a little bit still. Gonna need this guy under braking to be inside. 4 kind of half loses it there. And make contact there. You know, he was happy about that. He put a sarcastic thanks in the chat while we're racing. So let's back this whole thing up a little bit. So what happens here? I think the yellow car is down too low. He basically apexed too early. He went down too early. He should have stayed wider. Look at his line versus our line as we come through here with slow motion. He turns down really early, and we're holding like a more consistent line. And then we're getting closer to the turn because we are apex right about here. That's the closest we are to the inside. Earlier, where he kind of had to change his line in the middle and kind of mess that up. But now we have more speed. So we got a bit of a draft. We're already carrying more speed through here. We're doing 120 at this point. He's doing 116, so 4 mile an hour difference there. So now we've got our sights set on the guy in front of us. We're a little bit farther inside than we normally are going through here. This guy's probably watching his mirror a little bit here. And as we get towards this part of the turn, he's like losing the rear end. The rear end is sliding out on him. If you watch that carefully, kind of loses the rear end, then locks the front, trying to, I don't know, collect it or something. So he loses a ton of momentum here. He's off the racing line. Like you can see, where's the dark part? The part's over here. He's way outside of here. Okay. Maybe we should do far chase. It's a slightly wider angle. Okay. Go slow mo. So now we come through here. Normally I'd be up on those inside curves, but I can't because he's there. I got to kind of leave him some room, and it kind of changes my line. I get tap the brakes for a split second. Try to get the car turned. I should have swung out farther wide here. I should have been closer to him. Basically, I gave too much room. I didn't know exactly where he's at, and I gave too much room. I could have been a little bit more to this side, but you can also see where the rubber is of the traditional racing line. We're normally a little bit to the right of that to get ready for that left-hander, but he's pretty far out there. Go slow-mo again. So now he starts turning in. I'm turning in. I clip that inside like I always do, and we collide. Basically, our lines run into each other. So I could have been further out here and got more turning in and held it more to the inside. At this point, I can't really see him so well. Like, my vision is, we can just switch to it. This is not exactly my vision, but even in this angle, I can't even see my mirrors when I'm normally running. So I can't even see his fender here. So I got the wheel turned, but the car's still drifting out wide because we're carrying speed through here. And so we touch right about this point. And so from my side, it's not a big deal. A slight little bump, not that big a deal. From his side, it was actually much worse. And so when I saw the replay, I could see kind of why he was pissed a bit. Because it's significant on his side. That feels like a much bigger hit. But also, I don't know, there's a car inside of him. He screwed up entry into turn 1 bad. So, I don't know. Racing incident, I say. But that's easier for me to say. Alright, anyway. Back to... That's also the risk of being on the outside. Like, you're at the mercy of the guy on the inside for whatever is going to happen there. That's a real spin coming onto the back onto the NASCAR section of the track. That was a little bit interesting there. You can kind of see how look how close we are on that inside part here. We're like a meter off of that inside cement there. And if you watch these next two cars, they're like 2 meters, 3 meters, 2.5 meters maybe. Doesn't seem like a lot, but all those little things can help kind of add up. Also, like, look how close we are on this curb through here, and I bet if we watch these guys, oops, wrong way. Let's see how close they get to that. Oh no, they're on the curbs. That's good. That's better. I'd rather be on the curbs. Oh, you know what? Let's look at that. Do this. Yeah. Chase. So let's see how this guy takes the turn by himself. Okay, right. We went through here a second ago. We were sort of side by side. So he's still on the inside, but he's by himself. Through here. Okay, fine. So he runs this line, this same line of being really close to this inside cement thing here, and then running it wide out to the curbs here. Yet when we were side by side, he was trying not to even have his right side tires barely touching, like in the middle of this curb. So holding the entire line, we're going too wide through here, and then single file, using more track. Interesting. So I feel less bad. Took a very different line with 2 cars side by side, and then complaints. Go a wider camera view. So I'm just trying to be super clean here. We are on lap 11 of like 23 or something. I know the guy behind me is probably a bit hot by seeing a bit red at me for that bump. So I'm just trying to keep my lines clean and be fast and not let him catch me, because he might be a little bit angry if he catches me. That's what's going through my head. Keep it clean, be fast. So he closes up on the braking there quite a bit. These guys behind me are definitely better into that infield kind of U-turn section there. I don't know, it's probably like turn 7 or something. Another car spun somehow. Lap traffic starts to play out. Apparently, we had a pretty wide range of speeds of drivers in this race, and so you're seeing some spins, and that kind of spreads everybody out, and also gives us the potential for lap traffic, which is a little bit sketchy, but also kind of really fun in a way, because it gives you a chance to take some risks, which might work out or might not. So with the cars behind me running kind of so close, let's focus on them a little bit. Basically, the yellow car is getting a bit of a draft from the white car in front, but then the white car is also maybe every once in a while running a defensive line because he sees the yellow car getting real close, so he runs defensive. So that would slow him down. So the draft would speed him up, and the defensive lines would slow them down. And I have no such sort of advantage. The car in front of me is too far in front for me to get a draft off of unless I can get closer to him. But also, these guys aren't close enough for me to have to run a defensive line. And sometimes part of running a defensive line is you protect the inside, which means slowing down a little bit more, holding the inside a little bit more, just to not give an opening. To have a bit of a exit out of that turn. I didn't get all my turning done. They're definitely closing in. This is as close as they've been since we made contact. Switch camera. Sorry, screwed that up. Okay, so we're going down the front straight, heading towards turn one. The white car kind of fakes a move to the inside, but and now the situation's kind of reversed. But he backs out of it or something. Overshoots it into braking. And loses position for it. So he kind of messed up. I don't know, turn two, I guess it is. And then the yellow car spins coming out of there. I guess those guys are getting on the throttle kind of hard and early coming out of there. I don't feel like I'm even close to spinning. So now we got quite a bit of a gap again. Looks like we're coming up on some lap traffic here. Let's go ahead and go on board for this. Cockpit view. This view looks weird to me. Seeing way too much. I see slightly less than this. I can't quite see the left and right hand mirrors, and I have them turned off anyway. I can't. There's no reflection in them. I just have a big rear view mirror floating above in the center. So okay, so this is a little car, a left-down car in front of us. I know what kind of gap I have to the car behind me, the white car. This is not a car, but I don't know how he's going to take the turn, what he's going to do. And what does he do? He brakes wicked early and hard. So they had to take some evasive action there. This is what you call a code brown moment, meaning you may leave a streak in your shorts. So I normally brake right almost when we get to the transition where it goes from the oval part of the track to the infield, like just before that, basically. So we'll do half speed coming in here. This is half speed. I'm like, oh crap, he's slowing down way too much. I mean, aim for that hole right there. And then I don't know if he's going to turn anymore, so let me just aim for this inside, like basically the pit stalls for the NASCAR track. Get some braking down a straight line a little bit and then turn back to the inside. This was the sketchiest moment of the race for me. easily. Um, Super fun means you survive, but it's nerve-wracking in the moment. My heart rate surely spiked at this moment. Like that. That was wild for me. Okay, so let's look at this. I'm doing 93 miles an hour at this moment, barely on the brake. This guy is doing 77, 16-mile-an-hour difference. Uh, but doesn't sound like a lot. But yeah, it was wild. So that's some of the interesting stuff of traffic. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know exactly where they're going to brake. Um, you don't know if they saw you or didn't see you, or want to block you, or want to let you by, and maybe they make the wrong move or the right move. You don't know. So gather back up, take a breath, and keep going. And hope the guy behind you has a similar, the original position has some similar fun. Let's see how his situation's going to go. Because it didn't really cost us much time. Uh, Make us some heart racing moment, but it didn't cost us much in lap time. The car disappeared for a second there, the 14 car. Uh, so he's playing with the throttle here. And you can see he also makes up a ton of ground getting in towards one after you get by that car. Uh, People sometimes get angry with those situations, but uh, to me that's just part of the fun. Oh, that 10 car kind of locked up wheel on the inside on downshifting or something, it looked like. This is another lap car. I believe. You can see it close up a lot under braking. Real easy to run into the back of a lap done car under braking because uh, they're going, they're obviously going slower around the track. That's why you're catching them. But why are they going slower? Is their car damaged? Did they brake too much or too early or the wrong spot? Maybe they're good at some turns and not other turns. So you don't know that because you haven't been following them. So nobody is to get by that guy, and then he was sort of since we had a compromise line, he was able to close up under braking. They also don't want to get taken out by lap car because someone would think like, oh, okay, I'm just going to follow you and do exactly what you do. Uh, yeah, but we might not be used to that. Like right here, what happens? Okay, not too bad. I'm going to throw it a little bit earlier. But I think he tries to carry the same speed I carry into turn one, if I remember correctly. Better camera angle here. We're flying in turn one. Oh. Yeah, so running is, so not to belabor it too much, but where does he spin? Right about here. Okay, so we're doing 83 miles an hour, 91 miles an hour, right about the Sunoco sign. And 90 miles an hour. So doing the same speed through there, almost exactly. But then, so just might not be used to how the car feels, or when it starts sliding like that through there. So you can go the same speed there, but being used to how it feels, what you need to do to control it and react to it, or deal with it being slightly out of control. Okay, we're catching another lap car. So I can see there's a little bit of damage on the back of this car. How much is that affecting the handling? Don't know. Is he gonna try to let us by? I think so. So uneventful. He carried a little bit too much speed through there. He said, I. So we are lap 21 right now. It's about to be lap 22, 23 lap race. So this is basically position we finished in. We were third. So I think it's clean. There was just that one incident where we kind of banged doors for a second with Jorge there. I don't know. I think it was more on the racing line. He was thinking like some kind of alternate line. I think a little just a little more room, but you know, he kind of shoots it through the infield. But whatever. I feel fine with how I drove it. Fastest lap is lap 7. You can see the first lap is slow because we start from a dead stop and we start way behind the line. And then we quickly got down to 104s, a couple of 105s, a bunch of 104s, a couple of 105s. So I felt pretty consistent. I was happy with that. Drove well. We started 11th. We finished 3rd. So I think it was a good race. I liked it. Thanks for watching.